Today I'm going to explain a basic scar wax tutorial. What we want to start with is some spirit gum. Info will be in the description for each of the items that I use for this tutorial. So we're going to apply the spirit gum to our knuckles for this particular look. This is just going to help the scar wax adhere and make it a little bit easier to apply. Once we're done, we're going to wait for it to get a little bit tacky. We want to make sure it's tacky and not fully dry. I'm going to get some Vaseline. Putting Vaseline on our hands prior helps us mold the wax. It also helps it not to stick to our fingers as much as we try to get it to stick to the spirit gum. So I'm going to use the spatula that came with this scar wax just to take a chunk out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it a little bit to the size that I want. I'm going to apply it to my knuckle where I want it, right over that spirit gum. So you can use any amount that you want. You can adjust it as you like. It will take a little bit of time just to make sure that everything's smoothed out to the way that you like it. Once again, use Vaseline as much as you need to, just to make sure that it smooths out the way that you want it to. It could be a pain in the butt sometimes, but it takes practice. So I'm going to smooth it over my knuckles, grabbing Vaseline as much as I need. Now with the spatula, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut in the middle of that scar wax that we have over our knuckles now. This is going to be where the opening of our wound is. So I'm going to make that in the middle of our knuckle. And you can make that as big as you want and smooth it out as needed as you go along. Once again, use the Vaseline as needed to smooth it out so that it doesn't start coming apart. I'm going to do that to all of the knuckles. Right, now that I have the cuts where I want them, I'm going to take some setting powder. I'm going to lightly tap the powder over the scar wax just to help it set and close up any pores that it may have. This is a bit messy, but once you have everything powdered, it should look somewhat like this. Try to clean it up as much as possible. But now you're ready to paint. So I'm going to get my color palettes out. This is a basic skin palette and a bruise palette. I'm going to use a makeup sponge and take some of that light colored foundation color and place it over the scar wax lightly. The harder you press, the wax might start coming off. So I'm going to take some yellow and place it over that area as well. The main goal is to make it look bruised because naturally when you do get a wound, it does make a mark. So we want to get that yellowing of that bruise. Once again, lightly tap it where you want it. I'm going to take some red now and add some spots of irritation. So this can be lightly done, just right over the middle of that scar that we have set. Really wherever you feel like you want to put it. It's completely up to you how you want the wound to look. Smooth it out as needed, blend as needed, however you want it. So after I have that, I'm going to take my makeup sponge again and just put some blue. So this is going to be the start of our bruise, the darker color. So I'm going to use some blue and fill in some of the shadow areas and do that to each of the knuckles. I'm also going to add some green. This just adds a little bit more color to our bruise. Because we know bruises, you have the blue, purple, green, and then yellowing on the outside of it. Really just apply as much as you want. I'm going to take some red again and just go over that a little bit more, just to kind of reinstate that irritation. This is when it really starts to come together, the look. I'm going to take a thinner brush and I'm going to use that really light white foundation color and fill in that gap that we made earlier in the scar wax. We're going to do that to each of the knuckles. I just kind of lightly tap it just to make sure I'm not getting any chunks. Next, I'm going to take that same brush and I'm going to use it in the red. I'm just going to go over that white part with this red color. Once again, just kind of tapping it, not necessarily doing long strokes. Do that to each of the knuckles. Then we're going to add a little bit of the darkness to the shadowing of that cut. So I'm going to use some blue. I'm just going to fill the rest of that in. Once again, this just gives it a little bit more of a shadow within that cut area. And then add a little bit more of a darker red on top. Blend as needed, just to get the look that you want, and you can go over with some more red like I do here just to add a little bit more irritation and blend it in a little bit more. It's totally up to you how much you want to use. Next, I'm going to use some blood gel. It's a thicker form of staged blood. It sticks a lot better and doesn't drip as much. This I'm going to fill in lightly inside those crevices that we made. Do each of the knuckles. Once you get the amount that you want in there, I'm going to take that sponge again, lightly tap it into the blood, and lightly tap around the wound. That creates that kind of splatter effect. Makes it look more fresh as well. Add whatever touch-ups you need, and that's the look. Like, subscribe, and follow for more tips, tricks, and looks that might give you some inspiration for the future or just teach you how to do some SFX makeup. Thank you.